G'day, I'm Justin Porter, and today I'm going to speak about the benefits of religion. It's Saturday, the 22nd of February 2025, and it's the anniversary, it's the 56th anniversary of my father's suicide back in 1969. On this day, 22nd of February 1969, my father took a lethal injection of Nembutal. My dad was a doctor and he was only 38 years old. And he ended his life. I was in an orphanage. I was in Burnside Boys Home in Sydney, and my brother was also in an orphanage. We're both in an orphanage. And I was only 8 years old when my father ended his life, and my brother was 12, and my big sister, Lisa, was 11. And I just want to show you of my father. Here's a picture of my father. Now that's me, the little baby. That was taken in 1961. That's my 29-year-old mother, my 4-year-old brother, and my 3-year-old sister, and that's my 31-year-old dad. And here's another photo of my dad, and that was my dad in 1961, my 29-year-old mummy, Benita, and my 31-year-old dad, Alfred John Porter, and my big 4-year-old brother, Scott, and my big sister, Lisa. Now, Lisa committed suicide 25 years after my dad committed suicide. Now, here's a picture of my beautiful mother, my beautiful 29-year-old mother, and me as 1961, and my mother died a year later from an asthma attack at the age of 30. Now, my mother, Benita, was only 30 when she died, a year after that photograph was taken. And my dad, in 1962, a doctor, he was only 32 years old. He was only 32-year-old, my dad, and my mum died of asthma, and my father, who was a doctor, went mad with grief. He went mad with grief. And what happened? He went mad with grief, losing his wife. I lost my mother, and my big sister was 4, and no, my big sister was 2.5 and my big brother was 4. And so we lost, my dad lost his beautiful wife. They'd only been married 6 years. They got married in 1956. And my dad was a doctor. And in 1969, 7 years after my mother died, my father ended his life at the age of 38. And as I said, my brother was 12, my sister was 11, and I was 8 in 1969. And when I was a little kid, my grandparents used to tell me that my mummy's in heaven. But I used to think, if mum's in heaven on a cloud watching me, I want her on earth. And I was always angry at God, because even if you were a mother and you died and went to heaven and God said, sit on a cloud, you can watch your children, you can watch your husband grieve, but you can't come down to earth and give your grieving husband a cuddle and your 3 children a cuddle. God says, no, you're in heaven now. You're to stay here and you can watch your husband grieve and your 3 children grieve. but you cannot come down to earth and say hello to them. So, yeah. So my dad was an atheist. My mum was atheist. My sister was an atheist. And I often wonder, here I am as an old guy, I often wonder if my dad was a Christian, and I'm an atheist too, by the way. I'm an atheist too. I don't believe in God. And sometimes I think religious people can be happier because they have community. And even though I don't believe Christianity is true, I see the benefit of Christianity. With Christianity, you get community, you get a support system when you lose your loved one, you get a hope for the future, you get an afterlife, you get a hope that you're going to see your dead loved one again. And sometimes us atheists are left alone and without any hope for the future. We are just enjoying living, and one day we know we're going to die and there's no afterlife, there's no one here coming to save us. When we do good things, there's nobody watching in heaven saying, good job. And it's nice to think that there would be someone looking after us, but I don't believe there is. And it's really interesting. If you were a Christian and for 40 days you had to pretend to be an atheist, for 40 days you had to pretend to be an atheist, right? There's no God watching you, you're going to die and not exist. And then if you were a atheist and you pretended you were a Christian, so the atheist has to pretend for 40 days that there is a God and the God's watching over you, and when you die you're going to go to heaven or get resurrected on a paradise earth. I guarantee you the atheist pretending to be a Christian would be a lot happier than the Christian pretending to be an atheist if you had a 40-day game, because it would be harder for the Christian to pretend to be an atheist for 40 days, and the atheist pretending to be a Christian for 40 days would be happier, because it's nice to know that someone's watching over you and taking care of you. And my beautiful sister Lisa, where's Lisa? That's me as a 10-year-old. Now, when I was 10, I listened to Jesus Christ Superstar, and in 1970, this is 1971, but in 1970, that's me, the kid with the dark hair. Now, they're not my brothers and sisters, they're just kids that lived on the street about the same age as me. But when I was 9 years old in 1970, Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, came out, and I bought the record. It was only $2, and I loved the music on it, and I bought the record Jesus Christ Superstar. And I became interested when I was 9 years old in 1970. I became interested in God. And I was living with my grandparents, and my grandparents said, Justin, you can, I said, I want to know about God and if Mum and Dad's in heaven. And they said, well, Justin, if you want to go to church, you can. And the kids at the school I went to were either Catholic or Church of England. And and my grandparents, who I was living with in 1970, said, well, Justin, you can become a Catholic or you can become a Church of England because that's what's at your school. And I said, well, I don't like English because I'm no good at English. Why learn English? Because I'm Australian. And I like cats, so I became a Catholic. So when I was about 12 years old, I started to go to church. I went to a Catholic church. And my grandparents didn't go because they were agnostic atheist. And my brother and sister didn't go to church because they were atheists too. And and here's a picture. In 1980, that's a picture of my beautiful sister Lisa. That's me in 1980 when I was 19, and my sister was 22. And that's a picture of me as a 22-year-old in 1983 when I was 22. But here's a picture of my beautiful sister Lisa. This was taken in 1983 when I was 22 and my sister was 25 years old. And when my sister was 36 years old, my sister, who is an atheist, she committed suicide, my sister, and she took Nembutal 2, a vet's drug, and she was only 36 years old. So my father committed suicide, and my big sister committed suicide. Now that's Lisa in 1988 on her 30th birthday. That's me in 1988. And my sister's 30th birthday. And here's my brother, me and my sister. And that's Lisa on her 30th birthday, 1988. My sister turned 30 and I was 27. And that's the year that Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on my door, and I basically became a Jehovah's Witness in 1988 at the age of 27, because the heaven and hell never made sense to me, and Jehovah's Witnesses taught that the dead were sleeping in the grave and they'll be resurrected back on earth. So, interesting. So I see the benefits of religion. You get community. When there's a death, you get a hope for afterlife. But is it true? No, I don't believe it's true. I believe it's just wishful thinking, and it helps people cope with the realities of life. Now, I've been delving into atheist Bible scholars like Bart Ehrman, and these Bible scholars started out as believing Christians, but the more they studied the Bible and read the Bible, the more atheistic they became in their beliefs. And me, now I'm an atheist. I've studied the Bible extensively. I've looked at it, and you can see my other videos where I don't believe in the Bible. But my beautiful wife the other day was cart witnessing with two elderly sisters in their 70s and 80s, and I would never try to wake them up because they're happier with their religion. Yes, I do believe that a lot of people, they're happier staying in their religion where they get community and support and hope than facing the truth of atheism, because I really do believe that atheism is the truthful thing, but it's the most painful truth. And I do believe that humans co-evolved with religion as a coping mechanism, and I really don't think the human race could have survived without religion, because religion has helped man, give him hope, give him something to live for, even though it's not true. And if my beautiful wife ever died, I would be shattered too, and I may turn back to religion, because a lot of atheists recognise the value of Christianity. Now, if you get rid of Christianity and you get rid of all the world's religions, mankind's never done that. Never done that. A lot of people say we're all born atheists. That may be true, but if you got all newborn babies and put them on an island alone, within a few generations they would have a religion. they would have a religion that they create, a religion to add meaning and purpose to life. Because as an atheist, I believe there is no meaning, there is no purpose to life. And it is a dark spot to go down to. I do believe that when we die, we get forgotten in 3 generations. And there's just nothingness. And that's a pretty hard pill to swallow when you think. So religion gives people comfort, it gives people community. Since I've left the Jehovah's Witnesses, Nick, my beautiful wife, and I used to get invited to weddings. We'd go to one wedding every year as Jehovah's Witnesses, and we used to love going to weddings. Now I don't get invited out at all. We'd go to every funeral, every time there was a death in the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. We would go to the funeral to comfort each other. Whenever we moved, you'd always have Jehovah's Witnesses helping you to move, if you moved from one town to the other. So it gave you community, and church gives people community. And I do believe that religious people can be happier than atheists. I do believe that. I do believe that religious people can be happier than atheism. And this is the first video I've ever made saying the benefits of religion. Now, we know the harms religion causes: religious wars, Catholics, Protestants, Jews and Muslims fighting each other. During the Dark Ages, so many heretics and skeptics got burned alive at the stake, because the church said, well, if God burns people in hell for eternity, there's nothing wrong with us burning people at the stake for 20 minutes or half an hour, however long it takes to kill someone at the stake, burning them alive. Gives them justification. Back in 1692, in America, they had the Salem witch trials, where all these people got hung for being witches, for being, they said they were practicing witchcraft, but it could have been ergot fungus in bread, and they could have tripped out on mouldy bread and had hallucinations, and they got accused of witchcraft. Yeah, they got accused of Tommy, Tommy, well, you want to get into that hat, don't you? You want to get into that hat. What are you doing with me hat? Cat in the Hat. Hey, Tommy? Cat in the Hat. Tommy? Cat in the Hat. Say hello. Tommy the Apostle Cat. You, yeah, he wants to get in. This is the hat, the hat, sun hat. This is my hat so I don't get sunburn, because I've got very pink skin and I burn. I've got Scottish skin, and I was born in Australia with very pink Scottish skin. And Australia, we have more sunburn in Australia than in. We have the very high rate of skin cancer. So that's what I wanted to say. It's my father's 56th anniversary of him suiciding on the 22nd of February. I think it was a Saturday. I'm not 100% sure. I could check that up, but I think it was a Saturday day of the week, and it was I know for a fact it was 22nd of February 1969. And I often wonder, my dad, he couldn't even wait till the 1970s to come round. And the way I look at it now, I'm 64. I'm being shunned by Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm tempted to go to the memorial because they can say hello to you now. They're allowed to say a greeting to you now, but I could never go back to a religion that just shunned me and shuns people, because shunning leads to suicide. And one of the reasons why I'm on YouTube is because my father committed suicide as an atheist and my sister committed suicide as an atheist. But here is a religious cult that shuns people and drives them to suicide. And even I have felt suicidal because of shunning. So, And as I said, my dear sister, Lisa, committed suicide in 1994, the age of 36. And if my sister was still alive, she would be 66 years old. 66 years old, so I'm 20... What am I? I'm 30... Oh, well, how old? I'm 28 years older than my sister. And my dad... my father, he died at the age of 38, so I'm 26 years older than my dad. Yeah, I've outlived my dad by 26 years. I'm 26 years older than my dad, 34 years older than my mother, and I'm 28 years older than my big sister, and I'm the baby of my family. My big brother Scott, there on the far left, I don't know if he's still alive. I don't even know if he's still alive because I haven't talked to him since 1998. I lost contact with him. I don't know if he's on Facebook, but Scott John Porter, if you're out there, contact your little brother, because I would like to catch up with you, because I'm an evolutionist too. I now believe in evolution. And my beautiful mother, who I used to think was in heaven, on a cloud just watching me, and I was angry with God. Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door and told me that I'll see my mother on earth as a 30-year-old again. They told me that when I was 27 years old. And that's a beautiful thing to believe in, but is it true? Is it true? I wish it was true. I really do wish it was true, but I don't think it is. And why did I eat from the tree of knowledge? Why did I search for knowledge? Because it's left me down the road of atheism and nihilism when I could have been happier as a Christian. And there's religious beliefs that are a lot worse than Christianity, and there's political religions and all types of things, but humans just search for meaning, search for purpose, and there is no meaning and purpose, so we create these little stories to comfort us. And some people just need these stories, to survive, So that's my dad, John Alfred Porter. He was born on the 4th of June 1930, and he died on the 22nd of February 1969. My beautiful mother, Benita, born on the 4th of February 1932, and she died on the 9th of November 1962 at the age of 30. My sister, born in 23rd November 1958, and she died on the 21st December 1994. And there's my brother, who was born on the 9th of April 1957, and I don't know if he's alive or dead. I really don't know. He's an atheist, agnostic, because all us atheists are also agnostic. We don't really know much about anything. And I don't know much about anything. I know jack shit about life. But I don't think there is a God. I'm not convinced. And that's all I wanted to say. But goodbye to my father. And I hope you live on. And we make films, so we live on. We do YouTube channels, so we don't get forgotten. And a lot of people try to create things to get immortality so we don't get forgotten. We don't get forgotten. And even though I was only 8 when my dad died and 36 when my big sister died, I hope to see them again. My beautiful wife Nicole is still a Jehovah's Witness, and if this Jehovah's Witness religion gives her joy, gives her hope, and meaning and purpose in life, who am I to take her off that, you know? And so I don't mean to degrade anyone's religion. If people want to be religious, that's their coping mechanism. It's how they get through life. It's how they survive. It's their drug. It's their opium. As Karl Marx said, religion is the opium of the people. So I have no problems with people having faith. So thank you very much on the 22nd of February 2025. Thank you very much for listening.